From Incheon to Paris, Jungkook's Weverse words became Jimin's wings. What happens when a simple phrase, spoken softly on a live stream, becomes the heartbeat of a global phenomenon? How can words typed in real time transform into the invisible wings that carry one of the world's most beloved stars across continents, from Seoul's Incheon airport to the luminous stage of Paris Fashion Week? The answer lies in the unique and unbreakable bond between two names the world never tires of saying. Jungkook and Jimin, it began with a quiet Weverse live. Jungkook, ever the thoughtful younger member, spoke directly to fans, but his words unmistakably carried an undertone meant for someone closer to him. "Hyung always shines," he said, smiling with a kind of warmth that ignites millions of hearts. "No matter where he goes, the world will see it." Fans instantly knew this was about Jimin, the global Dior ambassador preparing for his first grand public appearance since completing military service. The message was not only reassurance for Jimin, it was also an assurance to ARMY that the brotherhood within BTS remained intact, alive, and stronger than ever. The timing could not have been more significant. Incheon Airport, already a media hotspot, erupted into a frenzy on the morning of Jimin's departure. Photographers lined the glass walls, reporters whispered into microphones, and fans from across Korea gathered to witness the moment. Every detail was magnified: Jimin's polished look, his calm but powerful stride, the faint smile that carried both confidence and vulnerability. Yet beneath all the external beauty, fans swore they saw something else, an aura, a strength that seemed to come not just from fashion or fame, but from Jungkook's Weverse blessing that lingered in the air like an invisible shield. "Did you see his smile?" Fans tweeted as Jimin waved gently before entering the departure gate. That's Jungkook's encouragement in action. Others compared the moment to wings lifting an angel, a poetic metaphor that began trending in hashtags worldwide. The phrase, "Jungkook's words became Jimin's wings," appeared on banners, fan art, and even digital billboards in Seoul and Tokyo, as if the fandom collectively agreed on a truth too powerful to ignore. When Jimin landed in Paris, the story had already traveled ahead of him. Headlines in Europe referenced Jungkook's Weverse moment, noting how it created a prelude of comfort before Jimin's dazzling return to Dior's global stage. Paris, a city known for its romance and artistry, suddenly had a new narrative woven into its Fashion Week fabric, a tale of brotherhood, resilience, and unseen encouragement. The Tuileries Garden, when Jimin stepped into the spotlight for Dior's Spring-Summer 2026 showcase, the whispers of Jungkook's support still followed him. His walk, graceful and deliberate, felt more than just a display of Dior's artistry. It felt like a statement of renewal. Observers noted the poise in his posture, the serene focus in his gaze, and the confidence that seemed anchored not only in his role as Dior's ambassador, but in the love and support that trailed behind him from Seoul to Paris, carried on the wings of his bandmates' words. International media quickly connected the dots. From Incheon to Paris, Jimin carries Jungkook's message, one outlet declared, noting how fan interpretations elevated a single moment into cultural memory. Others praised the emotional architecture of BTS's bond, marveling at how a simple interaction on Weverse could overshadow even the grandeur of Paris Fashion Week's spectacle. For ARMY, it was not surprising. They knew this was exactly what BTS had always been about: invisible ties that stretch across distance, powering each member through challenges and triumphs. What struck many most was not just Jimin's undeniable beauty on the runway, but the story behind it. The quiet words of support, the brotherly encouragement, and the visible glow it gave him created a moment where fashion, friendship, and fandom collided. In the age of technology and spectacle, it wasn't Meta's innovation, Dior's grandeur, or the glitter of Paris that commanded the loudest applause. It was the simple, irreplaceable humanity of one friend lifting another, captured in real time and amplified into eternity. And so, the narrative of Paris Fashion Week 2025 wasn't just Dior's collection, nor the presence of global celebrities. It was the story of a man named Jimin, walking with invisible wings given to him by someone who has always stood at his side. From Incheon to Paris, Jungkook's Weverse words did more than trend. They became part of history, reminding the world that sometimes the most powerful runway accessory isn't couture at all. It's love, loyalty, and the belief that when one flies, they all rise together. When Jimin appeared at Incheon Airport that morning, the energy was different. It wasn't just about another celebrity boarding a flight for a fashion show. It was the culmination of a long wait, a public reintroduction of a star who had spent nearly 2 years away serving his nation. The cameras clicked endlessly, but in every frame there was a story that fans couldn't stop repeating. Jungkook's Weverse words. You could feel it. One fan posted on Weverse. He looked calm, but inside, you knew he was carrying Jungkook's encouragement. Others echoed the sentiment, saying Jimin's steady wave to reporters carried a new kind of warmth, the kind that doesn't come from rehearsed public appearances, but from knowing someone who matters is rooting for you. It was as if Jungkook's words had turned into armor, an unseen protection that carried Jimin past the flashing bulbs and curious questions. The phenomenon didn't end in Korea. As Jimin's plane crossed the skies, hashtags surged. Hashtag Jungkook message for Jimin, hashtag Jimin wings, and hashtag from Incheon to Paris. Trending charts in Tokyo, Jakarta, Manila, and New York showed the same story unfolding. Fans around the world weren't just talking about Dior's event. They were talking about the love story of brotherhood that fueled Jimin's journey. The digital storm was so massive that even non-fans noticed. American entertainment outlets, which had initially planned to cover Paris Fashion Week through the lens of celebrity guest lists, pivoted their headlines. One read, "Forget Dior's stage. Jungkook's support is the real spotlight." By the time Jimin touched down at Charles de Gaulle Airport, Paris itself seemed to have caught the fever. French media, usually reserved in their coverage of K-pop, broke tradition. Le Monde ran a story titled "Un message, un energy. Jungkook élève Jimin vers Paris. One message, one energy. Jungkook lifts Jimin to Paris." The French translation of Jungkook's words spread across TikTok and Instagram Reels, accompanied by edits of Jimin smiling at Incheon, paired with Parisian skylines. It was no longer just a fan narrative. It had become a cultural movement, a story of encouragement immortalized in fashion's most prestigious week. The Dior team, insiders later whispered, noticed the difference too. Backstage, stylists remarked on Jimin's calm presence, how he exuded both serenity and strength, a duality rare in the high-pressure environment of global fashion. He walked in not just like a model, not just like a star, but like someone who carried a story with him. One staffer reportedly said, "You could sense that something or someone had given him wings before he arrived." As the show began at the Tuileries Garden, anticipation hit its peak. Fashion critics noted the sleek silhouettes, the interplay of light fabrics with Dior's signature tailoring, and the innovation embedded in every design. But when Jimin took the stage, even the most jaded critics seemed to pause. His presence wasn't loud, but it was magnetic. The air shifted, eyes locked on him as if nothing else on the runway existed. The narrative was no longer just Dior Spring-Summer 2026. It was Jimin's return, powered by Jungkook's words. Social media exploded again, with fans drawing poetic metaphors. From Incheon to Paris, he didn't walk, he flew. One army posted, garnering hundreds of thousands of likes. Another fan's viral TikTok, set to BTS's Microcosmos, overlaid Jimin's Incheon departure with his Paris runway, captioned, "When your brother gives you wings, the world becomes your sky." Even Dior's official social accounts couldn't resist the narrative, posting a backstage photo of Jimin with a caption, "Confidence is the truest accessory." Fans immediately flooded the comments, connecting the line to Jungkook's encouragement, declaring, "Yes, that's exactly what he gave him."